What's up my friends, I am back with a spoiler review of Avengers Infinity War. This is a spoiler heavy review, so if you haven't seen Avengers Infinity War, please click away, go out and see the movie, and then come back once you have. You've been warned. Okay, let's head straight into it. A lot of things happen in this movie, so I think I'm just gonna filter it down to 10 main topics that we'll talk about in turn. Let's start right at the beginning, at the start of the movie. All the Asgardians die, well not all, most of them die. I didn't really foresee everybody dying, and within 5 minutes Loki dies. Loki! Such a great character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they snuff him out just like that. I was a bit disappointed because Loki, Tom Hiddleston was in a lot of the press junkets, he was in a bit of the marketing material, but not all of them. In retrospect, it probably makes sense that he wouldn't be in the entire movie, but within 5 minutes Loki dies? Man, that's cruel, man. I think it just goes to show how big of a threat Thanos is. I mean, like, it really shows and tells us that he means business and he doesn't care how many Marvel movies you've been in before and how beloved you are by fans. He's gonna kill you if you try and stab him. Loki isn't the only person from the Thor movies to die. Heimdall also bites the dust, which is sad to see Idris Elba go. I'm quite curious to see where Valkyrie went. I mean, she was quite a big part of the previous Thor movie, but it didn't show her and it didn't mention her at all. So did she escape? Did she die with the rest of the crew? I'm not too sure, but I'm sure we will find out going forward. We're also introduced to the children of Thanos, or the Black Order, in this scene, and they look pretty scary, they sound pretty scary as well, but they don't really do much in this scene. We'll talk more about that in our second topic, which is the Battle of New York. We finally have Doctor Strange meeting Iron Man, so that's great to see. Two big arrogant men, one relying on magic, one relying on tech. So it's nice to see these personalities and different approaches to fighting clashing together, but they have to work together immediately because the children of Thanos come to Earth to find the Time Stone. Now I think the big Hulk-like member of the Black Order, he's a scary dude, but the guy they call Squidward in the movie, or I think his name is Ebony Maw, he is scary. He is powerful. His powers are legit, and you can see it in this movie when he beats Doctor Strange and kidnaps him to bring him back to Thanos. The Incredible Hulk falls to Earth to try and help our friends defeat Thanos' minions, but in the end he doesn't do anything at all because he can't turn into his Hulk form, and I thought this was kind of disappointing, but it makes sense because you've got such a huge budget and you need to save on those visual effects. I thought the fight scene here was pretty good. Iron Man is always an entertaining guy to see fight, and Doctor Strange is amazing when he uses his mystical abilities. It's not the best fight in the movie and it's not the most exciting one by a mile, but it was still very entertaining and enjoyable. Topic number 3, we are going to stay on Earth and go to the Battle of Scotland, where we catch up with Scarlet Witch and Vision. These guys are together, they're spending more time together and they want to spend more time together. However, their time is cut short when the other children of Thanos come to attack and try to steal Vision's Infinity Stone. So this was a very interesting scene because our heroes were caught off guard, and I was actually very afraid for Vision because he was being beaten left, right and center. But lo and behold, Captain America shows up to save the day, Falcon and Black Widow show up as well, and the Avengers theme song kicks in for the first time in full force, and the whole audience in the cinema erupted. The way the whole scene was set up was just exciting. We've got two heroes who are down and injured, and then reinforcements show up at the best possible time. Our fourth topic, we're gonna catch up with the Guardians of the Galaxy. When the music starts, you know that the Guardians of the Galaxy are coming, and it is amazing to see them on screen again. And this is where their comedy really kicks in because the Guardians saved Thor from the wreckage of his ship. There was so much laughter in the theater when Star-Lord was so threatened by how big and manly Thor was. So the Guardians themselves split into two. We've got Thor going with Rocket and Groot to find this mystical weapon for Thor, and then we've got the rest of the Guardians heading to nowhere to try and find Thanos. And when Gamora stabs Thanos and kills him, I was kind of surprised. I was like, wait, that can't be it. Thanos can't be beaten that easily. Turns out Thanos set a trap for them, and that was pretty mind-blowing to me at the point. So I believe Thanos uses the Reality Stone to defeat the Guardians and kidnap Gamora. It turns out that Thanos has discovered that Gamora knows where one of the Infinity Stones is, the Soul Stone. Gamora is forced to tell him that the Soul Stone is located on a planet called Vormir, and the both of them, Thanos and Gamora, travel to Vormir to find the Soul Stone. This is where it gets really interesting. First of all, we see Red Skull on Vormir, the villain from Captain America, the first Avenger. I was surprised. I was kind of of confused actually, but I think if you read the comic books and you know the lore, then you might not have been surprised. Red Skull tells Thanos that the only way he can get the Soul Stone is if he sacrifices what he loves the most. And at that point, everybody in the theater knew what was gonna happen. We were like, run away, Gamora, run away! But she was laughing and thinking, oh, he doesn't love anybody. Turns out Thanos has loved Gamora ever since she was a child, and through his tears, he flings her off a cliff and sacrifices her in order to get the Soul Stone. So Gamora dies and everybody's like, no! A Guardian of the Galaxy has fallen. This brings us to our fifth topic, which is the fight on Titan. So prior to this, Doctor Strange is saved by Iron Man and Spider-Man aboard Thanos' spaceship. You've got Ebony Maw, who is such a menacing character, and he dies just like that, just based on one hole in the hull of the ship. And I was like, man, that was pretty wasted. I mean, he seemed so powerful, and he didn't even put up a fight, they just killed him. So Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Doctor Strange meet up with the remainder of the Guardians of the Galaxy on Titan, and there is this amazing interaction that happens between them. They all introduce each other, but they also have this funny moment where Drax asks, why is Gamora? And that had the entire theater laughing. It was one of the great jokes in the movie. I did say in my previous non-spoiler review that the use of humor was a bit excessive at times, but this was one of the times where it hit spectacularly. So Thanos arrives on Titan, where our heroes are waiting for him, and this battle that happens between them is, I think, my favorite of the entire movie. We've got all these different heroes using their powers to the best of their abilities to try and stop Thanos, to try and distract him. In the end, we have Mantis dropping down from the sky and trying to mind control him to calm down, while the others try and get the gauntlet off of him. And I thought this was a great move. But that brings us to our sixth topic, which is Star-Lord's decision. Star-Lord, why did you have to do that? Why did you have to punch him? I mean, the entire future of the galaxy, of the universe, hangs in the balance, and you choose to punch the most powerful dude in the galaxy and distract everybody else. We all knew from the start that Star-Lord was a very emotional guy. I understand that Gamora just died, but you don't have to endanger the entire universe because of that. And I felt that that was a little bit of a weak point in the writing, but what can you do? So after this stupid decision by Star-Lord, things on Titan, the battle on Titan ends with Thanos stabbing Iron Man through the body, and at that point I was like, that's it, Iron Man. I'm so sorry, but you're gone. That's it. Your contract is up. You're dead. And everybody's gonna be really upset. But Iron Man survives because Doctor Strange offers Thanos the Time Stone in exchange for sparing Iron Man's life. Doctor Strange knew this had to happen because previously he was using the Time Stone to look through all possible outcomes of the Infinity War. He went through 14 million scenarios and only one of them ended in Thanos being defeated. So you have to feel that his power allowed him to see what they had to do to defeat Thanos. So that was pretty cool, I thought. I'm gonna skip over all the Thor, Peter Dinklage forging the new weapon thing. The only thing I have to say about that scene was that it was weird to see Peter Dinklage, a giant compared to everyone else. To me, he looked like just Tyrion Lannister enlarged. I could have done a little bit more of his makeup, but you know, that scene was very entertaining as a whole anyways. You've got Thor sacrificing himself in order to forge a weapon, and Groot finally does something, which was nice. They got their chance to shine. We are approaching the ending here, and topic number 7 is the fight on Wakanda. We've got a lot of characters meeting up in Wakanda with Black Panther and co, and this is where the big battle happens in all the trailers. You've got the entire armies of Wakanda versus the armies of Thanos. We've got the remaining children of Thanos coming to attack, and there's this all-out like charge battle that goes on. This is definitely the biggest battle in the movie in terms of scale, but I still think that the battle on Titan was a bit more enjoyable because of all the visual effects. Once again, we have a faceless army from a big supervillain in an Avengers movie, but I think this army of lizard creatures are a lot more aggressive and menacing and overall more villainous than our previous faceless armies. This battle starts to get more desperate as our heroes start getting pinned down by these creatures. But that's when Thor and Rocket and Groot come and they destroy everybody, and it's an amazing scene. That's for the second time in this movie the Avengers theme comes out and everybody cheers when the lightning strikes all these creatures, and Thor really shows that he is the god of thunder. But then our heroes in Wakanda face an even greater challenge because after obtaining the Time Stone from Titan, Thanos travels to Wakanda to get the final stone, which is the Mind Stone from Vision's forehead. Things start to get really serious and even more bleak and desperate at this point because Wanda Maximoff, or Scarlet Witch, is then forced to destroy the stone and in the same time destroy Vision using her powers. But Thanos uses the Time Stone to reverse time and bring Vision back to life just so he could kill him again and get the Infinity Stone from his forehead. Things are looking really bad now. Thanos has all 6 stones. He's getting ready to destroy the galaxy, but there's one last ditch attempt to stop him. Thor comes in hot with his war axe and his axe goes right through Thanos' body, and it looks like Thanos is about to be defeated, but then he looks up and smiles and he said, "You should have aimed for the head," and he snaps his fingers, and for a moment everybody's like, what's happening? What just happened? Even Thor is like, what did you just do? This leads us into topic number 8, the ending. Thanos did it. He wiped out half the galaxy. So a few weeks ago, I had a poll on Facebook to see if people thought Captain America would die in this movie or Iron Man would die in this movie, and 74% of the people said that Captain America would bite the dust. Turns out both of them survived, and when Thanos snapped his fingers, almost everybody else in the universe died. You've got the entire Guardians of the Galaxy fading to dust. Spider-Man dies, Doctor Strange dies, Black Panther dies, Vision and Scarlet Witch are gone. The only people, ironically, that survive are the original Avengers. Nebula and Okoye surviving. That can't be it. It can't. In fact, a lot of people were actually confused as to whether these people were dying or not, because a lot of their reactions were just kind of what's happening, and then they just fade to dust. And the only person who really gave credence to the fact that they were dying was Spider-Man, because you realize that this is a young kid and he's got his whole future ahead of him, and he starts dying and he starts hugging Iron Man saying, "I don't want to die." And you feel in that moment that sadness in that moment when Spider-Man starts dying, and you think that can't be it. There's a Spider-Man Homecoming sequel coming, so he can't be dead. And this leads me into a big question, and it kind of ties in with Thanos' character. So Avengers Infinity War is as much about the Avengers as it is about Thanos. You get to be introduced to how complex his character is. You see him in the past when he met Gamora and he had this vision of balancing the galaxy, and he believes that he's so right and he's so justified in doing everything that he's doing. So my question based on this is, if he's so concerned with overpopulation and trying to balance the galaxy, why not use the power of the Infinity Gauntlet to create a new timeline or a new universe and put half the people in the galaxy in that universe so that everybody survives instead of killing half the people? So when our heroes and all these characters faded to dust, I was thinking, did they actually die, or are they being transported into this alternate universe? I mean, it's pretty likely that they died, but does this also mean that Thanos is really at the core a sadistic killer and he'd rather kill people than actually move them? Or am I just overestimating the power of the Infinity Gauntlet and you actually can't move people into a separate universe? I'd love to know if anybody knows. So in the ending scene, we see the remaining Avengers just trying to process what they've just experienced, and you see Thanos in this hut in the wilderness just sitting on his porch and smiling. And the movie just cuts to black and ends right there. And I think people were expecting a bit more finality to it, but obviously that's going to be closed up in Avengers 4. So a brief note on the post-credit scene. There's only one post-credit scene that happens at the end of the movie, and that's topic number 9. We see Nick Fury and Maria Hill also fading to dust. They're impacted by Thanos' powers as well. And what happens is Nick Fury takes out his futuristic pager and sends a message. And the last shot of that movie is when we see the image of Captain Marvel's suit on that pager, and everybody goes wild. So obviously Nick Fury has summoned Brie Larson's Captain Marvel to come and help the Avengers defeat Thanos in the final movie, and I'm so looking forward to Captain Marvel's standalone movie next year. So the final topic is where we talk about what is going to happen in Avengers 4. Look, so much happened in this movie, and you've got to close up the storylines of so many characters that it's gonna be another monumental task in Avengers 4, because eventually you're gonna have to bring some people back. Some of these characters have to have their own movies as well. Some are gonna leave the franchise indefinitely, but others like Spider-Man and the Guardians of the Galaxy, they have sequels coming up, so they can't be dead forever. And they do say that Thanos will return in Avengers 4 as well, so he will be the main antagonist in that movie, but he's already finished his plan, so what could possibly be happening in order to bring him back as the main villain. Throughout this movie, Thanos has demonstrated a great love for Gamora, and I think the fact that he sacrificed her, the person that he loved the most, in order to achieve his goal must have been a great weight on him. And I think in Avengers 4 what he's going to do, he's going to realize that life has no purpose anymore without Gamora. So he uses the Infinity Gauntlet to reverse time and bring her back. But in doing so, he obviously has to bring back everybody else as well. So I think everybody's going to band together at some point to actually fight Thanos. So it's a bit confusing because Thanos wants to balance the galaxy, but if he really wants Gamora back, he actually has to unbalance the galaxy again. I can imagine a scene in Avengers 4 where Thanos is standing on one side and you have literally every character standing on the other side and they're all attacking him at once. Captain Marvel will join the fray, Hawkeye will join the fray, Ant-Man and the Wasp will be there as well, and I think everybody is gonna come back to life and kill Thanos. And I think in Avengers 4 we are going to see a lot more of Thanos' character and his true feelings and how he acts upon those feelings. We will definitely have Captain America and Iron Man probably retiring from the Avengers. Whether they do that by dying or by just passing off the mantle to somebody else, we don't know. I think that both Captain America and Iron Man will somehow sacrifice their own lives in Avengers 4 to defeat Thanos in a way, whether that's to push another Avenger forward or to just save another Avenger. I don't know yet, but it has to be a way that they exit the franchise. That is my prediction. So that's it for now for this spoiler review. I am sure I missed out a lot of stuff. There's just so much that happened in this movie and I can't quite remember all of it, but these are my thoughts on the parts that I did remember and my thoughts on the future of the MCU and what's gonna happen in Avengers 4. Guys, please tell me what your predictions are for Avengers 4. Who is going to die and stay dead at the end of Avengers 4? Will it definitely be Captain America and Iron Man, or will it be others? Will everybody come back to life? When will they come back to life in the movie? I'd love to know your thoughts. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to see more, click the subscribe button. I will see you guys for another movie review next week. Until next time, maximum hype and peace out.